On May 3, 2007, a 3-year-old girl named Madeleine McCann disappeared while on vacation with her family in Praia da Luz in Portugal. Her parents, Jerry and Kate McCann, had left Madeleine and her twin siblings in their apartment while they dined with friends just 100 yards away. Every 30 minutes, they took turns to check on the children. At around 9:10 at night, Kate McCann leaves the restaurant to check on Madeleine and her younger twin siblings before heading to the tapas restaurant with her husband Jerry and their friends. When they returned for the next round at around 10 p.m., Madeleine was missing. The window in the children's bedroom was open and the shutters had been raised. The local police were immediately notified and a search began. However, it wasn't until the following day that the Portuguese authorities launched a full-scale investigation and the media began to report on the story. The news of Madeleine's disappearance shook the world. The community rallied and hundreds of volunteers joined the efforts to find little Madeleine. On May 12th, the McCanns expressed their shock and grief about the incident in a public plea to find their missing daughter. Portuguese law enforcement thought Madeleine may have been kidnapped but still in Portugal. At the end of May, a witness description of an individual potentially carrying a child was released. In June, Portuguese authorities admitted that essential forensic proof could have been lost since the area hadn't been secured properly. In the meanwhile, the British police sent sniffer dogs to help with the case, while searches of the McCann's apartment and rent-a-car were also conducted. While the dogs sniffed around the apartment, they notified their handlers of a finding. The specially trained dogs detected the scent of blood behind the couch and by the window. In another search in the car, the dogs raised the alarm. By August, 100 days had passed without any news on Madeleine's whereabouts, and investigating officers noted she might not be found alive. On September 6th, Portuguese police interrogated Kate McCann as a witness, and the next day the couple became arguidos. The McCanns subsequently returned to the UK without new evidence from their questioning, and 2 months later, in November, Jerry McCann released a video stating that he had suspicions his family was followed in the days before Madeleine's disappearance. In April, Portuguese law enforcement officials were flown to England to take part in interviews conducted by Leicestershire police of the dinner guests. On May 3rd, 1 year after Madeleine disappeared, Kate McCann asked people around the world to pray like mad for her child's safe return. In July 2013, Portuguese police closed the investigation into Madeleine McCann's disappearance after they submitted their final report and lifted the arguido status of the McCanns. However, Scotland Yard subsequently began its own inquiry into the case, announcing that it had identified 41 potential suspects, along with a number of persons of interest and new evidence from witnesses. The BBC even released e-fit images of an individual seen carrying a child in Praia da Luz around the same time Madeleine went missing. In 2020, the German police identified Christian B., a 43-year-old prisoner, as a suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. The McCanns expressed their gratitude to the investigators for their hard work and dedication to solve the case. Investigators classified this inquiry as a murder investigation with assumptions that Madeleine is deceased. For years, people have been hypothesizing about what really happened to Madeleine and why. Some of these potential theories include: one potential explanation for Madeleine's disappearance is abduction by a stranger. Reports suggest that a man carrying a child matching Madeleine's description was seen in the area, and her parents had left her alone at the apartment when they went out. However, despite efforts to locate her and apprehend any possible perpetrator, no charges have been brought forward in relation to her disappearance, and she remains missing. An accident is one potential cause of Madeleine's disappearance. There is speculation that the McCanns attempted to cover up an accidental death. This theory is partially based on the presence of cadaver dogs in their rental car and apartment. Nevertheless, There's no concrete evidence to corroborate this hypothesis, and the McCanns have refuted it. The McCann's involvement in their daughter's disappearance is one of the most disputed theories among investigators. There have been several inconsistencies in their statements to law enforcement and evidence detected by cadaver dogs at their residence, but there's no proof conclusively linking them to the case. The McCanns have emphatically dismissed any allegations that they were involved in Madeleine's disappearance. So what did happen to little Madeleine on that fateful night? Hello and welcome back to True Crime Mysteries with FemmeTarot. And as you see, today we're going to be talking and covering the case of missing Madeleine McCann. What really happened to little Maddie? It's been 15 years since she disappeared. So many theories are just flying around all these years as to what really happened to Madeleine. A lot of people have speculated who may have done this to Madeleine. And of course, the big question in everyone's minds is Madeleine still with us? Is she still alive? This was while the video was playing, I was getting extremely emotional. I kept seeing the color blue. I'm holding my moonstone here. I just felt like taking this moonstone in my hand while we're talking about this. And as you notice, I'm also wearing blue, and I have to say that this was chosen by Madeleine. This is something that I normally wear in spring or summer or when it's warm. But the color blue is the key here in a sense. But I do want to start, and I don't like cliffhangers so much, so I do want to start by saying that Madeleine is no longer with us. If I get emotional, don't worry. It's partly because I'm being shown, or I'm being made to feel certain way. It's almost like little bits and pieces are being recreated. So I'm feeling a lot right now because I've completely tuned in. I can't even talk, tuned into this energy. So Maddie's a bit reluctant, but she's here, but she's standing way back. Let me start. I might sort of be all over the place, but please bear with me because this is what I'm picking up as I'm tuned into Maddie's energy and spirit. One thing she wants everyone to know is that the way things happened they're not how we think. So even the date is off, she says. Okay, the date. She disappeared on the 3rd of May, but she's saying that's not really when it all started. It started several days before. That day, the day she disappeared at around 10 o'clock at night in the evening. She wasn't well. She wasn't feeling well. So she was a bit whingy and whiny, and you know how toddlers are. She was 3 years old. 3 years old. And she's saying she was being a bit difficult the whole day. Now, I want to go back, and I've got to say, I've got to be careful how I say certain things. It's a very sensitive topic. It's still an open case. So I'm going to sort of like dance around things, but I hope you'll be able to get and catch my drift and understand where I'm going. But I do have to be careful how I say things. Now, what she's showing me is that let's go a little bit back and talk about her family life. She had younger siblings, they were twins, and we know Kate and Jerry McCann as well, both doctors. Jerry is actually a renowned doctor in where he's coming in Scotland, where he's from, right? He's a pediatric cardiologist, if I'm not mistaken. He's a cardiologist, but I'm not sure if I remember correctly that he's a pediatric cardiologist. Now, her life in that family, and I've got to say, she wants me to make it absolutely clear that she adores her parents and she's devastated for them. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to repeat some other stuff. You'll get where I'm going with this. Family life was not always easy. Maddie was not an easy child. That's what she's saying. She's saying she was quite whiny, quite vocal, but so was my son. So are a lot of kids. That's fine. They go through stages, especially toddlers, especially, preschoolers as well. But she's saying that her parents weren't showing so much patience towards her. Okay. And it seems to me that there is a very strange, this is what I'm picking up, a very strange bond between her and her dad. And when I mean strange bond, I mean he loved her, or so she says, but at the same time, she felt that he treated her unfairly a lot of times, especially compared as well, because she did have younger siblings. So she was able, even at that age, to compare the behavior or the reactions of her parents towards her as opposed to her siblings. Dad was quite stern. Jerry was quite stern, and he would snap a lot of times. I'm not going to use, I'm not going to use the word abuse, okay? Because as soon as when someone says abuse, instantly we think about SA, we think about physical abuse, we think about that. But there's also verbal abuse, or there's also other types of abuse out there. She's saying her mom was very cold as a mom, distant even. So was the dad. But as I said, they had a very complicated and strange relationship. Well, at least Jerry McCann had a very strange bond and relationship with his daughter. Maddie's saying that in hindsight, she feels that in a way, mom might have been jealous or might have been competitive or antagonistic towards her child, her firstborn. I'm asking her if it was related because of how her dad was with her. She's saying yes and no. She's saying yes and no. The other thing I'm asking her is, did the twins get the same kind of treatment? She says again, no, not from Jerry. But yes, from mom, from Kate. She's saying that her family is very well respected, upper middle class. They do a lot for the community. Oh, they did a lot for the community when she was here with us. So they're very respected, and they've got a lot of connections and political connections and powerful connections. This is what she's saying. I'm going back to that evening, to that night where we all assume that's the night she disappeared and never to be seen. Because I'm asking her, I'm really looking at, like, she's showing me the room, right? I'm seeing it, and you saw it on the video too. Those were blurry photos. I couldn't find clear photos. I'm sorry about that, but at least you get a little bit the idea of what the room looked like. There is now, funnily enough, here's what she's pointing to: the couch, which is blue, by the way. Blue, I'm telling you, is going to be the theme. I've got goosebumps. She's touching me right now. I'm choking up. She is acting as guardian and protector to those twins since she passed. She adores her siblings. She's always around them because she misses them. They have felt her, they have seen her. Now I'm asking her about that night and about I'm not gonna go straight to exactly what happened. I'm allowing her to show me and share with me whatever she wants to share. But what I am asking her is, so if you were abducted and then you were killed, why didn't they abduct the babies? Because they were babies. So the risk is lower, right? Or one of the twins. Um, because Maddie could talk, she could walk, she had perception, she was in touch with her environment. And the kids were like fast asleep, she's saying. Here's the thing, what she's saying to me. She wasn't feeling well all day. She was being difficult. That's the word they would throw around in that family. Don't be difficult, Maddie. Maddie's difficult today. Okay, so that's why I'll keep using that word, because that's the word that Maddie's using. Her mom gave her something. So her mom gave her a fresh pressed orange juice. That's what it looks like. And there must have been something in it. Maddie says, I never saw it. But what I did feel, she says, was that like 15 or 20 minutes after she didn't even finish the juice. Like it was like half drank. She started feeling very lightheaded and nauseated. Sorry, nauseated. And she wanted to sleep. She wanted to go to sleep. Another thing that she's saying is that, which I don't understand as a parent. Like, I don't understand as a parent leaving your kids and just going to dine 100 yards away, babies. We're not talking about a 12-year-old. We're talking about 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-olds. How could you leave your kids to go to dinner? Okay, fine. They were doing this rotation system where they were checking on the kids, like the whole group of friends. But no one, they didn't even warn Maddie that they were going to be dining out. So what would have happened if she woke up? And then, this is what she's saying. If she woke up and suddenly, there was no one there, she would have panicked. But she said after she drank that orange juice, a few minutes later, she wanted to go to sleep and she went to sleep. She fell in deep sleep. She's saying that a couple of days before that incident, she had an accident. Or so she calls it. She hit her head, but there were no visible markings because she hit her head here. So it wasn't something that would have been visible to guests in the hotel or from the McCann's friends or by the McCann's friends. And since that accident, since she hit it, okay. She's very reluctant to say things to me because this is how pure their souls are. She doesn't want us to be angry. Angry towards her parents. She does not want us to assume the worst. But I'm assuming the worst because I know what happened. Or at least I know what happened according to what she's showing me and she's making me feel. This, guys, one thing I can tell you, this is much bigger than we think. There are theories out there about sex trafficking, about, having like some kind of group that maybe the McCann sold her to a, sex trafficking group. or that they hired someone to do something or to do it for her. There's so many theories out there. And you know what? There's a little bit of truth in every single friggin' one of those theories. That's what I've got to tell you. There is elements of truth in every single one of them. Okay, I want to tell you something else. She's saying that sooner than we think, we will find some type of evidence of that, not of, that Madeleine is no longer with us. That's coming. That's coming. We're coming up now soon the to the date of her disappearance. So 3rd of May. So it's just 6 weeks away, or about 5 weeks away. But I'm getting the month of May in general, not only because of what happened, but the month of May is also another key month to remember. The way I feel it is that, whether, I'm not saying it's going to be this year, it could be in a year, in 2 or 3, but around the month of May, or in the month of May, there's going to be a huge revelation, and there's going to be a huge revelation as to not what happened, because that's going to take a lot longer, but eventually she's saying that we will find out the story, we will find out the truth. And I'm asking her if the people who did this to her are going to be punished. And she said some of them. This is the answer I'm getting. Some of them. Others are going to get away with it, but eventually the world will find out the truth. So she says she doesn't remember much after that, because it was like she blacked out, or everything is dark. And when while you guys were watching the video, and I was channeling and I was connecting with her to the point where there's something that I did. There's thing that I do, that when I channel, especially for special cases like these ones, I completely align with the soul's energy. Okay, completely. It's exhausting. It's depleting my energy, but this is the only way. So I align with that energy, and it's like I use remote vision. It's almost like I can sort of hijack and get into the life that they had, and use remote vision to see things. I hope that makes sense, but this is the best way I can explain it. How it works with me sometimes when I channel. There are different ways that I do it, but in this case, this is how I do it. And when you guys were watching the video, and I was trying to do that, okay, align with her, all I could see was darkness, black, 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 for a split second. And I want Maddie to show me again if she wants to, if she can. I saw like she was restrained with like black tape or black cord of some type. It was thicker, so I feel it's tape, like a black masking tape or something like that. And her mouth for a while, but it was then removed, and then it all went black. All went black. I see 2 men, because I'm asking her now, okay, your parents were having dinner with their friends. Um, who came in? Who carried you? Who took you? Where did they take you? The only thing she says is that she knows there were 2 men, because even though she was out of it, she could still, from a like a distant echo, she could hear 2 separate male voices, but she couldn't react. Like, she was unable to do anything. It was like she was out, alive but out. I'm getting a headache. What So the next question I'm asking her, because this is important to me at least, and I'm sure you guys are would like to know that, is whether she was in pain or she suffered or anything else happened before she crossed over. She's saying not physical pain, but emotional pain. What I do see is water. Blue was her brother's, the twins' favorite color, still is. And blue is significant because of something she was wearing, which was blue. And then she left her last breath in water in Portugal. I tried before we came on, I tried to do a little quick Google map search because I do see what the location looks like from like a bird's eye view, but I couldn't find it anywhere near like the southwest where Playa de Luz is, and I couldn't find anything similar. But that I need to take a lot of time to research. I need to go around coastally around Portugal. Portugal is quite cute, like it's a huge um coastal area for me to find what I'm being shown, what I'm seeing. But what I'm seeing is from bird's eye. This is what I'm seeing is like she. Okay, bones are still there. They will eventually find like a bone or a piece of bone or something like that with DNA testing. They'll be able to confirm that's hers because it's like it looks like a huge cliff where the water, like the ocean is hitting against these massive rocks, and they're like little caves on there. And there's also a tiny little beach, but it's not like an accessible beach. And there's a little cave there or next to the beach, around that beach. I'm just describing what I'm seeing right now, which is where they left her. After that hit on the head, and they're doctors, this is what surprises me. Both of them are doctors. Kate McCann is a GP, a general practitioner. Crazy. She was complaining, and the reason why she wasn't feeling well was because of a concussion that she got 2 days prior because of that. How did that happen? You'll have to guess. But yeah, certain family members were involved. She's not answering whether it was an accident or not. She doesn't want to tell me yet. But so, and after that, she was given something that fateful night. She was given something by her mom in her juice that, combined with a concussion, combined with some other things that she was going through, led to what happened. And as I said, it didn't happen that night. It happened a day or two, or maybe a few days earlier than that. Now, the real question, this is me talking. This is not Madeleine saying anything. I would like to know, knowing this now, did the police, when they were interviewing witnesses and hotel staff, did they ever ask the witnesses when was the last time they saw Maddie? How many days ago? Just saying. I don't feel that anyone who worked in that hotel, the friends or witnesses, had seen Maddie at least a day or two. Um, they have a lot of connections, the McCanns, hence why Madeleine McCann is the most talked about case of a missing child in the world. 720,000 children go missing a year. And this case has been on our minds, and we've been talking about it for 15 years. Maddie's asking, how do you think her parents were able to find the funding for, because they also hired private investigators. Scotland Yard was involved. Of course, we know the Portuguese police. They named them Arguidos. They had to lift it because they had no concrete evidence. But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that they're, guilty or innocent. So so they were the parents were the dad, Jerry, very powerful, very politically connected, which is why Tony Blair was involved. He came out, and a few days after the disappearance, and he also got involved, and politicians were getting involved, and it's like, that doesn't happen with with other cases of missing children. Also, it's really interesting how the next day, on the 4th of May, in the morning, and this has been verified by witnesses and guests at the hotel, that journalists, the press, police, they were already there the next day to look for Madeleine. Isn't that strange? And mind you, correct me if I'm wrong, but when someone disappears or goes missing, okay, and you go to the police, they always tell you wait 24 hours because you never know, they might come back, or wait for 24 hours. I'm just saying, it was orchestrated in a way to create drama, to create attention, and to create diversion, a decoy in a sense. Because the more the parents, made noise, and they talked about it, the less, according to them, the less people would assume that they were involved in any way. Also, very strong connections. And yes, I don't know if someone just thought of it and I just picked up your thought, but yes, I do feel allegedly that he is a Freemason too. Yes, with Illuminati connections. So he got help. They got help. They got help. They got help for what? For Maddie to go missing. The thing is, they're starting to get arrogant, I'm getting, okay? Maddie's still here. This is not her talking. This is just me picking up stuff that I'm being shown. They're getting arrogant now, meaning that they feel that all of them, all of the people involved in this, feel that they're going to get away with it. As I said, remember my words, some will, some won't get away with it. But the truth will come out. She wore pajamas with a bunny on it, or I see a bunny. A bunny is like it's either a plush toy. I know she had a plush toy, and her mom would bring the plush toy with her to these like press meetings. But there's another kind of bunny. Like, she loved that bunny. It was her comfort, her security blanket. It was comforting to her. Hmm. Did they test that bunny for DNA? Just asking. They should have, right? I don't know, because Maddie's showing me the bunny and then another bunny, which is in her pajamas. The pajamas she was wearing, I feel they had bunnies on them. Like I just see like a little bunny face with really long ears, and her pajamas were blue too. So blue is everywhere where I look. Hold on. I've got Alice in Wonderland deck. I want to pull a couple of cards. I've got the Alice in Wonderland deck because she chose these two. I wanted to pick another deck, but she said no. So I wanted to use a different deck for one that you guys haven't seen, but she didn't want that one. She found it a little bit dark, and I agree with her. So I'm just cool. I'll get to your questions in just a minute. Femmies, I just feel like I want to pull some cards. All right, thank you. The Magician. I specifically asked about the mom. I got the Magician. Magician can be positive card with a positive meaning and energy, and it could also be a negative energy because it is also creating, manifesting, doing spell work, whatever it is. But here in this case, I feel that it was all conjured together, if you know what I mean. Everything, the whole scenario. And then I have the Nine of Pentacles. She's very good at the mom. Kate McCann is very good at disassociating with her feelings. She's very good at blocking guilt, emotions, feeling, all that. Very, very good. Did she come? I feel she must have come from like an abusive background, like an abusive household when she was little. I'm gonna pull for Jerry. I think the reason why she wanted this deck is because look at the imagery. It speaks for itself. Forget about what it says here. Ace of Wands, just for you to know. But look at this. Look at this. There is a candle. I asked about Jerry. Candle, white candle. To me, a white candle is symbolic to someone who's passed. Okay, their light has dimmed. So you light a candle to their memory. He's holding a wand. Control. I've got control and I'm strong and people fear me. This is what I'm getting. I really feel it's coming. It's getting closer and closer the time when this will come out. I'm also being told that okay, here's another very interesting fact or interesting thing that she's sharing with me. I showed you the Portuguese chief of police who also wrote a book about the case, who to this day believes that the parents are guilty and they're behind what happened to their daughter. Maddie's saying, and mind you, Portuguese people do believe that too, especially in that area. Some people know things, but they're too scared to talk. Just telling you. Now, the other thing that Maddie's showing me, or she's telling me, is that this chief of police, she kept visiting him in his sleep, in his dreams, night after night after night after night. He felt haunted by her, but he doesn't realize that she was coming in. She was trying to help him. She appreciates his professionalism. This is what she says. He did his best, but he met a lot of obstacles. So she's saying she was trying to show him and get through to him, And he felt that he was just being too emotional or too emotionally invested in that, and that she was haunting him. He didn't realize that it was her, literally her, coming in, giving him clues, telling him, "I'm no longer here. I'm not here. I've crossed over." I think we'll wrap it up now because it is quite heavy. It is taking a toll on me emotionally as well, energetically too. We do have the answers. We do have some answers. The answers will come out at some point. But I just want you to know, guys, that she's fine. She's at peace. She's a happy little girl. She's doing great. I did ask about reincarnation, but not anytime soon, at least. She says not what she's not reincarnating for as long as her parents are still with us. Like they're still alive. This is what I'm getting. But for now, she's so much at peace. She's with her granny. She loves her granny. Her granny takes care of her. So she's doing great. She's thriving on the other side. So don't worry about her. Luckily, she didn't suffer. Like there wasn't anything traumatic towards the end because she was blacked out. She doesn't remember. She doesn't have any memories from then. So at least we're all at peace knowing that Maddie is well, that she's at peace, she's happy, she's with her grandma. She still loves her parents. She still loves her parents. She still visits her parents. And she's she insists, you know, don't it's Maddie, it's impossible. We're human beings. We cannot not be angry or, infuriated by her parents. It's impossible, but she just wants us not to. Like she wants us not to make things worse because eventually things will come out anyways. I don't need to tell her. She sees it and she feels it. Yeah, yeah, she sees it and she feels it. Yeah, bless her soul. So I'm gonna send Maddie off. You guys, I hope you have a beautiful week, a beautiful Monday. I'll be seeing you again on Friday on Jason's channel for our Week Geeky. Thank you for watching. For all of you watching, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new here. More true crime mysteries will be posted. We will have more of these in the next coming weeks. Please do let me know which one you want me to read on next time. And we do have a whole list that Gabrielle conducted. She just created a whole list of different cases. We'll go down the list, but if there is a specific one that you guys really want me to read on and talk about, then please send me a message or just comment down below. Thank you everyone for being here. Till next time, bye.